Thanks for joining us on Chicago Tonight. I'm Paris Schutz. Here's what we're looking at.
Taxes are up by nearly $900 million, to be more accurate.
Why property taxes are way up this year in Cook County's north and northwest suburbs. City Council votes on whether or not to bring Chicago home and tax high-value property sales to help the homeless. That and more from our Spotlight Politics team.
We are here. We're here as one. We're here together.
A concert featuring songs written in concentration camps.
Gardening is the best form of therapy that insurance can't cover.
And another look at a local police officer who turns his backyard into an award-winning garden. And now to some of today's top stories. Police say they have a suspect in custody in connection with the mass shooting that injured 15 people in North Lawndale over the weekend. Superintendent Larry Snelling says alleged offender William Groves is charged with 32 felonies in all, including multiple counts of attempted murder and aggravated battery. Police say Groves was arrested minutes after the shooting took place at 1 a.m. Sunday morning on the 1200 block of South Pulaski. Snelling says the quick arrest sends a message.
So to those bad actors who attempt to take lives or take lives, we will be here to stop you.
The city is one step closer to asking voters to approve a wealth tax on high-end real estate sales to help fund housing and programs for the homeless. The so-called Bring Chicago Home ordinance passed out of City Council's Rules Committee today. It would ask voters to approve a new law that would impose a graduated real estate tax on properties that sell for more than $1 million and an additional incremental rate for properties over $1.5 million. The initiative now goes to the full City Council for approval, and if it gets the green light, it could appear on the March primary ballot. We'll have a lot more on this in just a moment. Plans are back on to turn an abandoned Kmart on the city's southwest side into a migrant shelter. 23rd Ward Alderman Silvana Tabares confirms the city is now planning to house migrants at an abandoned Kmart at the corner of 71st and Pulaski. WTTW News first reported in February on state plans to turn that site into a shelter, but the plan was scuttled after Tabares and State Representative Angela Guerrero-Callar led opposition. Tabares says she is still concerned about the plan, citing safety among her top reasons for worry. Trick-or-treaters, you know this by now. You got to bundle up tonight. Temperatures have been unseasonably cold all day, right around the mid-30s, with several bursts of snow squalls. Could get as low as 28 tonight, according to AccuWeather, with a chance for some more snow accumulation before getting up into the mid-40s tomorrow. If you really want something scary this Halloween, open up the latest installment of your property tax bill. It might be especially spooky if you live in the north or west suburbs, which have seen the highest average yearly spike in property taxes in decades, according to a new study. Some homes have even seen their taxes double from this year to last. This suburban Des Plaines home saw its property tax bill go up 101% from last year. This home on the same block went up 109%. The median property tax bill in Cook County's north and northwest suburbs went up 15.7% this year over last, according to a new study released by the Cook County Treasurer's Office. That's the largest property tax increase for that part of the county in 30 years. The study shows a shifting of the tax burden from commercial to residential properties, despite Cook County Assessor Fritz Kage's campaign promises to shift it in the other direction. In all, units of government in Cook County collected $1 billion more in property taxes last year.
So the question is, where did they go up? Why did they go up? Why did these additional governments request money?
The suburbs with the largest increases were Rosemont at 32%, Schiller Park at 29.7%, and Des Plaines at 28.7%. Part of the reason properties in the north and west suburbs had their values reassessed last year, which factors into this year's property tax bills. Assessor Kage's office says it initially reassessed commercial properties higher than residential, but the burden shifted after the Cook County Board of Review revised those assessments. In a statement, the office says, quote, because growth in residential properties outpaced non-residential assessed values, this shifted who pays what share of property taxes. The city of Chicago's reassessment happened in 2021, and the south and southwest suburbs are being reassessed now, which will factor into next year's property tax bills. But an examination of individual tax bills shows a massive increase in taxes paid to nearly every school district in the county. Treasurer Pappas says her office conducted the study so that property owners know what they're in for.
The message here, Paris, is read your bill. If you read your bill, you'll find out where your money is going to.
And those bills are set to come sometime in November, then due December 1st. You can read more about this story on our website. And coming up in the program, a preview of an upcoming concert featuring songs written in concentration camps during the Holocaust. But first, in our Spotlight Politics team segment, our team talks about Halloween at City Hall and much more.
Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by Alexandra and John Nichols, the Jim and Kay Mabey family, the Polk Brothers Foundation, and the support of these donors.
City Council votes whether or not to bring Chicago home with a new tax on high-value property sales to help the homeless. The Invest in Kids program takes its next steps towards a possible extension, and City Hall gets in the Halloween spirit. Here with all that and more is our Spotlight Politics team, our spooky Spotlight Politics team of Heather Sharon and Amanda Vinicky. Thanks for foregoing trick-or-treating tonight with your little ones to be here.
Who's to say that we're not doing that after the show?
Okay, well, bundle up.
We
Bundle
got
up.
it.
Okay, so Heather, we mentioned Bring Chicago Home, the real estate transfer tax surcharge on homes over $1 million, another surcharge on homes over $1.5 million. What's at stake with this proposal?
So this, if it's approved by voters in March, would generate $100 million, which would provide a dedicated source of funding to help people who are unhoused, not just to find apartments or homes, but to get social services like substance abuse counseling or mental health care. This would radically change the way the city approaches homelessness, and advocates say it is long past due, as there are nearly 70,000 Chicagoans who are either homeless on the streets or living doubled up with friends and relatives.
Opponents of this, not surprisingly, the real estate industry, what did they have to say about
Well,
this?
they say that this will be a death knell for Chicago's commercial property market, which they say is struggling to recover from the shift during COVID to remote work, which has left lots of empty office space downtown. And they say if you make it more costly to sell these properties, they will simply be worth less, and that will hurt the city's whole economy. Advocates for the proposal say that is fear-mongering, and we are going to see another round of arguments tomorrow at the City Council, and then if it passes the City Council, we are in for a Donnybrook of an election season for the March ballot.
Methinks there's going to be some commercials on TV trying to sway voters
Yes,
on
indeed.
this issue. Let's take a look at what Alderwoman Maria Haddon had to say in response to those concerns.
Specifically, what we're looking to do, we're tying the funds that we're hoping to create to solve homelessness, which is a problem every single Chicagoan should be working to solve, to the success of the commercial real estate industry. I just know that this body, so, you know, for BOMA, for other folks, a lot of our labor that relies on that commercial real estate industry, just know that you're not going to be let down and abandoned by Chicago City Council.
Okay, they're not going to be abandoned by City Council, Heather Sharon, like some of those buildings are right now. How is City Council going to come to their aid?
Well, they voted 32-16 to advance this, and I should note that this proposal would also reduce the real estate taxes for properties worth less than $1 million, and that is 96% of all sales in Chicago. The city is saying, look, you want to turn some of these buildings into affordable housing units and apartment units, which would really reshape the financial district. They're going to need city subsidies to do that, and I think what the subtext of what Alderman Haddon said right there was, look, we can give a little, and perhaps you will also get a little as well.
Maybe there's some kind of deal in the offing there. All right, Amanda, let's move it to Springfield. This Invest in Kids program, which is tax credits for parents that send their kids to private school, pay private tuition. It needs to be renewed. What's going on?
Well, some parents, just to be clear, it is a tax credit that anybody can give. You could give money to this program. Heather could, I could, regardless of where your children attend school. It is the students, however, who are particularly poor that are able to access that, although there is a huge waiting list. So a limited pool of students are able to actually use those dollars. It's just you get a tax credit if you give to one of these programs. And it had long been planned since it was started to be done. It was actually expanded once just for a year, and so now the program is going to go away, and that is something the advocates of this program say is deeply unfair to all of those students who attend schools now, love them, want to continue, want to graduate from them, and what is going to happen if the program suddenly ends, as it will happen if the General Assembly and Governor
And they haven't taken action. They've had a week of veto sessions, so what's the prospects here?
We really don't know, because on the other side of this, I talked about what the backers of this program believe, and that is that this is a best and a fair choice for students who want to finish at schools of their choosing. However, the other side says that this is money, by taking any sort of money sort of away from public coffers, that's money that could ostensibly at least go to public schools that also need it. And further, you have really deep opposition from, very politically powerful teachers' unions. So we don't know what is going to happen. There is a compromise that has been offered that would do a lot of things. Paris, the question is it going to be called?
All right, so Democrats kind of caught in a rock and a hard place here. They've got constituents that want this to continue. They've got a very large financial backer and political backer in the teachers' unions that don't want it to continue. Let's move back to the city. Heather, so Kmart at 71st and Pulaski, we had reported back in February that the state had planned on using this as a migrant shelter. Local officials there said, no, we don't want this. Now it looks like the city is reviving this proposal.
That's right. And this is part of really what appears to be a mad scramble by Mayor Brandon Johnson and his administration to get the nearly 3,000 people living on the floor of police stations at O'Hare housed, as the weather is very, very cold. And while it's supposed to warm up a little bit this week, that won't be for long. So there is really sort of the sense that no stone is being left unturned. And this is a large warehouse in a commercial area, and it seems like maybe it could house many of these people who right now have nowhere to go.
In fact, the original state plans were for over 600 migrants. Obviously, it's the 11th hour right now.
Well, yeah, Paris, I mean, I think it is. We're seeing it snowed. Who wants to be outside right now?
And
that
they
would
can't
be
stay in
awful.
police stations during the day. They have to be outside.
Yeah, I mean, totally awful. And that has been something that a lot of folks have said. All right, so what is the deal? We talked about abandoned properties, or at least big commercial properties that are no longer having folks because many are working from home. So let's do something with them. The issue, I think, however, compounds because people say, hey, wait a second, even if it's empty, I don't know if I want this is for the use of that property. And people may take great offense to that. Others, people would say, please, we welcome them. Other folks are saying, no, not in my backyard.
That Kmart's been sitting there empty for about 7 years, and it's in a commercial corridor on a busy street. Heather, let's get back to the Halloween spirit a little bit. City Council having a little fun,
Yes.
a little fun today, and it was kind of political too. So
Yeah.
tell us about this picture here.
Well, Alderman Andre Vasquez is dressed as a little free library, and he is fighting Alderman Ray Lopez, who I didn't know this before today, is dressed as Sub-Zero from the Mortal Kombat video games. Now, Alderman Lopez loves Halloween, and for the last 2 years, Alderman Vasquez has gotten into the spirit by using his costumes to make a political point. Alderman Vasquez opposes the changes that Alderman Lopez has made to the little free libraries, and as you can see, they got into it today, very good-natured, but this will be up for a vote tomorrow, and there are some strong feelings on both sides. Alderman Vasquez says that Alderman Lopez's proposal would ban little free libraries unless people go to the city to get a permit. Alderman Lopez says the city has to regulate these things, which are in the public way sometimes.
Did Vasquez pass out books instead of candy?
He did not. He did not.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, so Amanda, another state issue here. The report that an executive assistant to the director of IEMA, the Emergency Management Agency, quit amid questions over their pay. They're making something like $48,000 a month.
Yeah, Paris, not bad if you could get it,
No.
I guess, except for when the taxpayers are paying for it, and there are a whole lot of questions here. So great reporting by the Sun-Times' Lauren Fitzpatrick. And I think really the point of this is not only that this individual was getting paid that much money for as an executive assistant, but also so many unanswered questions. Why was a contractor needed for this work in the first place? 4 other individuals were fired in connection with this, or at least, let go, but the state isn't sharing. The state is not sharing any of the timekeeping and the hours. When this is, okay, so let's say I did a little bit of math here. Let's say 160 hours.
Proposition for journalists.
Yeah. 160 hours a month is what we would work if you say worked 40 hours a week, about that, right? This person supposedly worked 350 hours a week. regarding evidently something with the pandemic, perhaps when it first started, but January of 2023, that wasn't particularly the height of an IDPH disaster, at least. So lots of unanswered questions,
Well,
Paris.
accounting or HR investigator needs to get on the case here. Heather Sharon, Amanda Vinicky, happy Halloween, and enjoy being out there freezing with your little ones.
Fun, trick or treat.
That's what husbands are for, right?
Yeah, here we go.
Up next, a unique concert of songs from the Holocaust. We explain next. We Are Here. It's a one-time concert event that features song lyrics that were written in concentration camps and ghettos during the Holocaust. The lyrics take on new life with new music that's just been composed and will be performed at the Salt Shed on Monday, November 6th by a collection of actors, musicians, and local news people, including yours truly. It'll certainly be a memorable night. And joining us with details is Ira Antelis, the creator of this production. Ira, I'm practicing up. You and I have been practicing on this very beautiful song.
Well, as I tell people, don't come to the concert to see me, but come to see you, because you are amazing.
Well, no,
and I know
no.
that because we've worked together, so I could document it like
Well, there are
this.
a lot of amazing performers, but this is a really beautiful melody. This one song that I'm going to be doing that you helped write the melody for, a really amazing song. But again, we should mention the lyrics all come from folks that were in ghettos and concentration camps, and it was kind of like an act of resistance when they wrote these.
Yeah, it's sort of witnessing history, because these songs tell the stories of the pain. Actually, yours is called Pain and Sorrow.
That's the song I'm playing. It's called Pain and Sorrow.
So they're telling the stories of their lives during these horrific times. Many of them ended up, dying in the gas chambers. And a lot of this, most of the music and lyrics were written prior. At certain songs, I helped to, just adjust things a little bit.
Well, the one I'm playing kind of has this like Elton Johnny melody, but again, it's a very sad song. So let's rewind a bit. How did this project come about?
When Elie Wiesel died, I was reading about his history, and it said that he wrote the foreword to a songbook from the concentration camps. And I was like, music from the concentration camps? I just actually didn't believe it until I found the book. And I'm like, wow, these songs are beautiful. And then I became possessed. How do we give it a life? And I'm like, let's perform it in different places. And we actually performed it at Carnegie Hall last January with Broadway stars like Harvey Fierstein, Chita Rivera. It was incredible. And then a friend of mine, Ken Leonard, said, you should do the concert here. I wasn't really thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it here. I talked to my friend Craig Golden from the Salt Shed, and he said, yes, come here and do this concert. So it's been amazing.
Certainly a great venue for that concert. Let's take a look at a clip.
This song is written with our blood and not with lead. This is no song for free birds flying overhead. But the people amid crumbling walls were here. They sang the song and sang it without fear. But the people amid crumbling walls were here. They sang the song and sang it without fear.
So some photos of that performance with one of the songs as a backdrop. So tell us about the other folks taking part in this particular event.
Well, I mean, the most important thing is, I always say music is sort of a universal language. And I use, music can bring people together in ways other things can't. So we have people performing like Donald Lawrence, iconic gospel artist. Adam Jacobs, who played Aladdin, created the role on Broadway. Justin Jesso, big star in Europe from Highland Park. Yourself. We have a bunch of newscasters, sports athletes coming to present. It's going to be a beautiful night, and it's about bringing people together.
And of all faiths and of all backgrounds.
All faiths, yes, and all religions, everything.
And what's happening in Gaza and Israel, does it give new meaning to this event? Because, you know, this event was scheduled before anything happened over there.
Yes, people ask all the time. So this event is not political in any way. You know, I think when you hear some of the songs that were written in the 30s and 40s, you know, you might think of today's situations and the difficulties going on, and the innocent lives being lost, and how, you know, prolific, how horrible that is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the lyrics right now of the song that I have to sing. It goes something like, small little kids carry gravel and stone, get beat with a rod from above, you know, can't understand what they're doing. I mean, they're such tragic lyrics.
Yes.
But again, the music to this, it's more there's like a juxtaposition. The music is not sad. There's there's an uplifting element to the music.
Yeah, I would say yes, and the reason is I knew that if we did a concert and everything was sort of very, very down, nobody will come. So I went through like 300-400 songs and figured out the songs that can be, let's say, arranged in more of a contemporary way, like your song in sort of the world of Elton John or Billy Joel, to give it more of an uplifting feel. But the lyrics are all very, you know, really difficult, because people are talking about their lives and all that has been lost. They've lost their families, they've lost their homes. You know, and this, we're talking about 80, 90 years ago.
Very, very emotional lyrics. I'm still working on the chords, and that E11 chord that you threw in there.
E minor 11.
The E minor 11 chord. A lot of cool little chords in there that I'm working on. But this is going to be a really great event. Ira and Talis, congratulations. I hope everyone breaks a leg. Monday. The concert is Salt Shed next Monday night, November 6th, 7:30 p.m. You can find more information on our website.
And also, wearehereconcert.com.
Wearehereconcert.com. There you go. We'll link to that on our website. All right, moving on. It's never too late to start a hobby. Last week, we introduced you to a police officer using his love of gardening as an outlet to recharge his mental health. The story apparently struck a nerve. It's one of the most read and viewed stories on our website in a long time. We thought we'd give you another look. Here's Chicago Tonight's Joanna Hernandez.
Back then, I couldn't even imagine this. None of this was here. Again, we have to go back. I have 4 planters. Yeah. I was just trying to keep those alive. And then upon keeping those alive, it kind of grew.
If you can see dirt, add another plant. It's one of Duranis Cooper's philosophies.
This looks like we're walking through a jungle here.
We had a situation because I have so many plants back here where I was unsuccessful in growing grass. These plants drain out so much, it was just killing my grass. So I decided to put pavers back here and make it a seeding area.
What started with 4 planters has grown into more than 50 plant species in Cooper's backyard.
When I was a kid, I used to help my grandmother in her garden. Her garden was basically a vegetable garden. And back then it was more of a chore as opposed to a love.
But over the years, Cooper's love for plants grew, literally. He calls it his grandma's garden in honor of her memory.
Deep in here is a wine barrel.
Stop. Oh my God, yeah, you can see it. Oh my God.
So
literally you can plant them in anything almost.
The Garfield Park resident says getting his hands in the dirt helps him cope with the challenges of being a police officer.
You can come home and shed your uniform, you can shed a duty belt, but you can't shed your brain. I can't put my brain on a shelf and come back and pick it up tomorrow. So all of the experiences that we've endured day in and day out, time and time again, it stays with us.
Officer Cooper has been on the force for 23 years and shares some haunting stories.
5 or 6 years ago, my teammates and I were sitting down for lunch one night in Hyde Park, and the call comes out over the radio that a child had been shot. So of course, naturally, we get up, we take off, we go to the scene, and unfortunately, an 11-year-old boy was playing with a gun that he and his cousin had found and was shot. And as we're trying to deal with that, within 15 minutes of being on that scene, another call comes out of a person shot.
Literally feels like you're being transported somewhere else.
Yes.
From 10-foot elephant ears to sweet potato vines, Cooper's vibrant oasis even got the attention of 2 furry felines.
Hi, Cheeto. And he spends a lot of time in the garden.
Yeah, he showed up a year ago in September. Smokey showed up back in April.
You give them that love and care?
Yes, you give them love, you talk to them, I look at them, and I mean, it's just kind of fun watching them do them.
What you see now will all be gone come winter.
Literally
Absolutely.
everything is gone.
Everything is gone. The planters have nothing in them, and we start fresh every year.
So you kind of just start over?
I start fresh every year.
Wow, so you kind of love that.
That's
So every year it's kind of different, as you mentioned.
Every year, my aunt and I start our plant pilgrimage right before, right before Mother's Day, and that's how it gets started.
For Chicago Tonight, I'm Joanna Hernandez.
Cooper's Garden was selected as one of the best residential gardens by the Chicago Excellence in Gardening Awards. And for those who want to get into gardening, his #1 tip is to read the labels that come with the plant. Good to know. That is our show for this Tuesday night. Join us tomorrow night at 5:30 and 10 for Chicago Tonight Black Voices. Checking in on how the elimination of cash bail has been faring 1 month in, we're one-on-one with Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox. And the challenges of obtaining legal representation while incarcerated and how that keeps wrongfully convicted people behind bars. And now for all of us here at Chicago Tonight, I'm Paris Schutz. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and stay safe out there and stay warm. Happy Halloween. Good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm whose attorneys embrace a culture of philanthropy and service by volunteering their time, expertise, and guidance to help others in the greater Chicago community.